Welcome to Talk On to Walk On, and this week we are actually recording on Valentine's Day. Now, you may think it's a day to be romantic, or you may think it's ridiculous. You may think it's a chance to celebrate human connection. I can see you laughing already. Or you can think it's a load of old commercial claptrap. So we thought we would sit and have a chat about our thoughts around Valentine's Day, especially being a midlife couple.
I'm definitely, in terms of Valentine's Day, I'm definitely on the side of it's a bit of commercial claptrap.
Mm-hmm.
But then that's maybe to do with our age and the fact that at our age, we've been through lots and lots of Valentines. So I do remember being much younger and feeling that almost like an obligation. I remember feeling under huge amounts of pressure, not only on what you're going to do on Valentine's Day, but also what you're going to give in terms of a gift. Now, what I do know, because with the prep for this podcast, is
which wasn't a lot,
is I've dug up.
Oh, look at you! Where did you get that?
This is just.
They're from me though.
This is just a sample. These are from you to me, which I've kept because they're so precious. And I did struggle to wonder where all the ones that I've given you in previous years, where are they neatly kept together? So you can romantically read the lovely words that
our relationship.
Yeah, the lovely words that I wrote about you
somewhere.
Yeah,
so somewhere in amongst. You know, I'm sentimental, so you know they are somewhere, and I definitely haven't thrown them away because I am a bit of a hoarder. But it's just that I'm so much of a hoarder that they're in amongst a very big pile of hoarding stuff, lots of stuff that I keep, and I know that you're always on at me to chuck things out, and I hide them. So I hide them. That's your fault.
I
hide them that well. But I don't know where they are.
It's always my fault. Whatever it is, it's my fault. But we're both actually hoarders because I keep things, you keep things anyway.
We're sentimental.
Yeah, but it does make me think that obviously Valentine's Day is one day when people can write sweet romantic things to their partners, and so I should
write. I think it's a prompt, isn't it? It's a prompt, It's a good reason to remind ourselves about the importance of our connection and appreciating our connection. I mean, naturally you probably say you shouldn't need a reminder, and really you shouldn't. But actually, it is a reminder, and it goes back actually centuries, doesn't it? Valentine's Day, which I was really surprised by. It's a Saint's Day.
Saint Valentine's.
I shouldn't be surprised because I'm a good Catholic girl, but I knew there was a Saint Valentine, but I actually didn't realise the actual day. I'm being stupid. That it came from this martyr who used to marry, apparently, so whether it's a myth, legend, whatever, marry the soldiers in the Roman Empire.
Okay.
Because they didn't want them to marry, and he was a priest, and he secretly married them, and then they executed him. And then the next bit that I also read was that, again, myth or legend, that he fell in love with the prosecutor's daughter and wrote her a letter before they executed him, or whatever they did
before they chopped his head off.
Whatever they did.
So what's your earliest memory of Valentine's Day?
Oh God, I think we all remember, just as kids, it was like the giggle day, wasn't it, of who got a Valentine in the classroom and stuff like that. And there was always the popular girl who got Valentines. It definitely wasn't me. I did receive a few Valentines, but I know for a fact he still always denies it, that it was my stepdad.
Oh, bless.
My lovely stepdad Brian keeping me. But then I think I knew, so I think it made me just feel worse, to be honest. Rose, I don't know, can't remember, do some dodgy poems. Remember Swark, sealed with a loving kiss?
I remember that. And
sealed with a loving kiss.
There was another one.
There were some rude ones, I think, as well.
No, another one like Swalk. There was
Swalk. We said Swark.
Swark. Oh, Swark.
We didn't pronounce the L, dear.
There's a silent L.
I think we said Swark. I might have just
Italy.
I made that up.
Italy. I treasure and love you.
Oh my God. We definitely never said that. But it was those days, and again, society. It's a great example of early societal pressures, isn't it? Of that feeling of just feeling rubbish about yourself if you didn't get a card,
yeah.
and like all made up with yourself if you did. Do you know what I mean? I also remember, and I did try, like you did, to pull out some cards, but I couldn't find them. But I remember I did have a boyfriend from when I was about 15, 14, 15, quite a long time. And he used to send me, who remembers the cushion cards? If I find it, I'm definitely going to put it on alongside this podcast. And it had a big, my lovely first boyfriend Martin, and he used to buy me these cushion cards. I remember they were
so they're like 3D, aren't they?
Well, £5, and you were like, you made
like
it. Yeah,
made of sponge.
Yeah.
You
I had a big white bunny rabbit. It's there somewhere, and he used to write me the funniest poems.
Well, you kept it.
I have kept it. Yeah.
You didn't destroy
you still haven't topped Trump Martin with the cushion cards. No pressure, babe, but that'll never be forgotten. And I have kept them. I've kept quite a few things from my first boyfriend, and it's really nice to look back on. Again, the sentimental person in me. And you know what? He just used to write in the typical Liverpool humour style. They were just funny poems and little drawings and stuff. And it made me feel, it does give you a bit of a relief, whether it's oxytocin, serotonin, all these dopamine hits. If somebody does something for you that's really meaningful, I actually think, regardless of whether it's Valentine's Day, I mean, there is a societal pressure, but that aside, if somebody just does something that's funny about you, writes a little poem or draws a picture or gives you a card, and sometimes actually all the time, I think the more sentimental and the more personal, the better.
Yeah.
I think, I definitely think it has a good impact on the brain, and makes you just feel good about yourself.
I think it does. And I wish it could stay that way, but the older you get, in a way, the more serious it becomes. And suddenly, you're into your late teens and early 20s, and it all becomes
a bit too serious.
So much pressure in terms of what you're going to do, where are you going to go out in the evening, what present you're going to give. And
that side of it, I'm not so sure about. I mean, obviously, the commercial side, we all roll our eyes. But the benefit is obviously to people who grow the flowers, people who sell the chocolates, hospitality sector. Why not? They're all in business to make money, and I suppose there aren't too many days a year where it's felt that they know they're going to sell out. So in that respect, I'm all for it. But in the respect of somebody feeling, especially men, maybe I'm feeling a bit. People go, "What?" I still think there is an imbalance in this age of equality, of expectation from women. I'll be honest, that men buy the flowers for the women.
The pressure is on the men.
I think I think it's still like that.
Bang up to date with social media. There's then a lot of comparing, isn't there? Because everybody would be posting their wonderful Valentine's experience, even if that's not reality. Who knows whether that actually happened? But they'll post videos and wonderful pictures. And everybody else will think, oh, well.
I've actually, but
why didn't you do this for me?
Yeah, and I think that brings some anxiety on both parts, doesn't it? And it can be quite revealing, I think, how you respond to the lack of a present or the lack of a thought, or I think it can actually be quite telling in a relationship is how you deal with something like Valentine's Day. I think communication is clearly. Well, certainly as you get older, the key in terms of, are you going to get me a card, or are you not going to get me a card, or are you going to, I think as you get older, you're brave enough to say it. And that would be a top tip, is if you are in a relationship, kind of make sure that you're not overly attached to your expectations on Valentine's Day.
Yeah, and if you're saying to your partner that you love them 364 days of the year, Does telling them
know,
that you love them on Valentine's Day, is that going to make any difference at all?
Everybody's different now, aren't they? What they expect. I have seen, not that I have been on social media much today, but I did just have a little look, and there was some funny TikToks, girls just, who don't have romantic partners buying themselves a nice big box of chocolates and a nice bouquet of flowers and putting them on their bed and waking up acting surprised. So, bit of self-care, bit of self-love, good excuse.
And there's Galentine's Day, which is for when girls go out. And I don't know if there's Valentine, but there's
I think Valentine.
Oh, is a man.
I think
so it's girls and men.
Well, I don't know. I just think, again, I think Valentine's is the day before, I think. But I think, again, it's a nice excuse to just be with your girlfriends or be with your boyfriends. And, I think I read Secret Valentine was the thing, which I don't know whether that's America, a bit like Secret Santa, and you all get each other a present or whatever. So I think it's evolving, and I think that's probably in a good way, rather than, the expectation of society. I think a lot of people now perhaps would roll their eyes at over romanticism being overly displayed on social media. I think maybe we shouldn't envy that, but I think perhaps it just does. It shouldn't, but it does add to the pressure of expectation.
But I think that in terms of gifts and so on, that's more in your control to understand what your partner wants or likes in terms of love language. If you understand her or him and you can get the right gift, that's sort of to do with your relationship. But one thing that I've always, irrespective of me now in midlife or when I was younger, going out for an evening meal on Valentine's Day as a couple, and you're sitting in a restaurant and the restaurant is just full of other couples, all talking in hushed tones, because you can't get much of an atmosphere in all sets of twos, eating from an overpriced menu, with a massive expectation that this is going to be an amazingly romantic evening.
Yeah.
Oh, I just find that just even describing that, makes me feel stressful.
But you're bowing to society there, aren't you? You're comparing yourself. Instead of just going, do you know what? We're going to go out. I mean, I know we wouldn't, because we don't feel the need to.
I couldn't expect I couldn't expect my partner to feel as chilled about it. Well, it's just like any other. Let's just go out and have a good time. But you're still sitting in a restaurant, just the two of you.
Yeah, it is a bit cringe.
Yeah, it is a bit cringe.
But that's what we think.
Yes. What do you think? What do you think?
Don't dumb down if that's what other people want to do. And they, it can be seen as an opportunity to relight the spark in a relationship. And I think that can be a good thing,
But broadening out, talking about relationships more in general, things like cooking for your partner at home, doing them a special meal, and we know that happens with our kids. On whether it's Valentine's Day or any other week or day or month of the year, being able to do something special for your partner by cooking them a special meal at home, laying out the table setting with a candle or whatever.
I mean, some people would say that, but some people say that's cringe too, because it's contrived, isn't it? But what I do think is life can be really, really busy. And, there's a lot of stresses in life, and especially if you've got a ton of kids or a really hectic job, or the pressures are from family and friends or whatever. And I do think that, something like Valentine's Day is a chance, if you so wish, to remind yourself that actually you're loved. And it doesn't necessarily mean necessarily have to come from a partner.
Yeah.
I mean, it's nice. If you were in a relationship, then it does remind yourself. You can remind each other and take that chance to remind yourself that, it is a chance to have a minute together.
Yeah. And as you were saying earlier, it's about communication. And if you're in a good, strong relationship, you can talk to your partner in the days or weeks running up to Valentine's Day to say, what shall we do? What shall we do? It doesn't have to be a surprise, does it? What should we do together? And in fact, going back to the power of communication, power of conversation, that applies throughout the year, making sure that you're having date nights together, going out together, and doing things that you as a couple want to do.
Yeah. I mean, we've talked about couples, but also, and we've talked about being younger, but actually, and we laughed earlier about, you know, the lack of not having a romantic partner and buying yourself stuff. But actually, that also applies if you're single. So it's that, I do get the whole Valentine's Day little bit of anxiety around it when you're not in a relationship. I've definitely been there in midlife, post-divorce. And, you know, obviously I had Hannah, so we used to just, you know, do something together, put a little film on, or sometimes we probably didn't even mark it, but I had her. But I do get that whole, fling the phone, log up, you know, turn off the phone. I don't want to be bombarded. I mean, you're actually happy for people, sort of, but when you're on your own or you're going through a bit of a bad time and you see all these people supposedly in love and supposedly being romantic, that can be really hard. That can be hard to watch that so openly on social media. It's a bit like when I was single and I used to drop Hannah at dance and I'd go for a walk on a Sunday with the dog along Ossus Pool especially, and I always remember like all these couples. It was like, it's like Sunday walk time, you know, and you'd see, and I'd be like, oh, some days I'd feel really lonely, and other days I'd feel quite empowered, depending on what mood or what was happening in my life at that time. But other days I'd go, actually, are they really that happy? And I suppose, you know, again, we talk about social media, don't we? And, you know, I don't like it when people say, oh, it's all fake, because mine isn't fake. What I say is that I put on what I want to capture as memories, but it doesn't mean we've got a perfect life. Surely most people who are on social media, certainly older people, should know that it's not a reflection of perfection. It's a moment in time that was captured, and I want to look back and remember. So we've drifted a little bit there, but I think when you're single, particularly this time of year, it can be hard, and don't take social media too seriously, I think, is the message. Don't take the grand gestures too seriously, because it's not, nobody's relationship is perfect.
But it's sort of drifted, but it hasn't in a way, because it links in with appreciating the everyday. And you know, social media is a way of capturing the 365 days of the year, in terms of what you do. And in a way, yes, go back, Valentine's Day is a day in the calendar where you can do as much or as little as you want in terms of special things for your loved one. But all the other days of the year are there to do great things too. And that's what, I think we were talking earlier about, if buying flowers or buying a gift or going out for dinner is the only thing you did in the entire year with your partner, well, that's ridiculous. But you only did that on Valentine's Day. That's one extreme.
Say that,
but the other extreme is
that is some people's reality, or they don't get anything on Valentine's Day.
Well, the only time they're ever bought flowers in the entire year is Valentine's Day.
Could
be, yeah. And I guess there might be a whole lot of legitimate reasons why that might be the case, but for most people, I don't think.
I think the point is, you know, there should be, certainly if you're in a romantic relationship, it should be just about being appreciative of each other a bit more often than one day or a couple of days a year.
Yeah, and enjoy, you know, having all sorts of other things that you can do during. I mean, we talk about date nights, going away together, all sorts of gestures that you can do through the year. But it does then bring. I keep on coming back. It does then make it even more. If you're somebody who, or a couple who've done lots of great things during the year, and you know, you go out together, you know, you make sure you have a date night, you know, buy flowers, you buy gifts, when it comes around to Valentine's Day, it makes it even more irrelevant, doesn't it? That why on that
which is probably why we are where we are. Yeah. I mean, we're not perfect. And it's interesting, while you're talking, I was thinking, I've always described you not as just not romantic, but actually I'm being probably, I think maybe I'm being
happy Valentine's.
Happy Valentine's. Still got the prosecco. But I think I'm being a bit unfair, and the reason I think the point that you're making is you are really thoughtful most of the time. Do you know what I mean? And I'd like to think I am as well. We just do it. You're laughing at.
Just yeah, you've decided that I'm not romantic, but I'm quite thoughtful.
No, you are thoughtful. No, you are, and no, you are. Got the giggles now, but I think the point is that we do stuff, don't we? We don't have date nights. So you keep going on about date nights.
But you know,
we don't do date nights. What are you on about?
We don't do date nights.
No, we don't.
But talking about.
But we just pop out for something to eat now and again, and we actually don't go out for posh meals every night. It's probably 2-3 times a year, and then on our own.
But the thing is, I don't know, and I don't understand what your definition of romantic is, and I think that's the issue.
Yeah, that is
because
true. Yeah, it's a good point.
When I propose to you, the way I describe it, I think is really is really romantic, and then the way you describe it, you put a spin on it to make it the most unromantic proposal. So yes, I didn't parachute in a ton of red rose petals to spell with "Will you marry me?" Something which is to me totally cringeworthy.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting that.
I hope not. I wouldn't helicopter in a ton of.
No, but now you're exaggerating.
No, but I think I'm quite romantic. In my own way. I keep all the letters I've written to you, and all the letters that you've written to me, I keep.
All the letters?
Yeah.
How many of them?
So you don't even know. You don't even know.
You mean cards?
Yes. Where are all the Valentine's cards?
I don't know.
Or even the birthday cards I've written.
They're somewhere in the house. No, they are. They're in a pile somewhere. They are. We've had this point.
Shoved at the bottom of the cupboard. So I think I don't know whether in terms of describing people as romantic or not, it's all about gestures, isn't it? It's all about little things that are done and so on to make the other person happy, I think.
Yeah. And I think that is actually the most important thing in a relationship is working out what it is that makes your partner happy. And just remembering to do it, not just once or twice a year. And yes. I think the emphasis is on the word little things.
Yeah.
Like cups of coffee.
Yeah.
And
but if you ever,
a cup of coffee in bed, or bringing it up, or bringing me a celery juice. And that sounds, I was like, what?
So romantic.
But you actually now and you don't do it all the time, but when you do, I go, oh, that's actually really nice because I'm trying to have a little mini detox before I stuff my face.
I'm good at breakfast. I'm good at breakfast. Breakfast in bed.
Yeah, you are.
But if you were to ever break out into singing "You Don't Bring Me Flowers" or something like that, I would know something has gone wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm not. I'm not. We're not. And I think that's probably where we're probably quite well suited.
Yeah.
I think if you were being a bit of an idiot all year round and then suddenly brought me a big bouquet of flowers, I'd probably shove them back in your face. So I think it is all about balance.
But that goes to consistency. I totally agree that if Valentine's Day is the only day you turn up with flowers, then you deserve to have them thrown in your face. But yeah, I was okay.
That's not what I was saying.
What were you saying?
No, what I was saying was, if you're an idiot and you only turn up with flowers on Valentine's Day,
yes.
If you're an idiot most of the year,
and then turn up, you can't be forgiven.
It doesn't mean because you only get flowers on Valentine's Day, you're going to get flung them in your face.
Yeah. So yes.
Yeah.
Okay, but consistency, it's no good being a consistent idiot. You've got to be consistently loving through the year. And I did some stats. I looked up some stats, And it's obviously a really, really sensitive time for relationships around Valentine's Day, because the stats that apparently 10% of couples break up in the 3 weeks leading up to Valentine's Day.
Oh, before?
Yes, leading up in terms of the
pressure.
I don't know.
Or they just don't want to spend.
Yeah.
Well, maybe, but the thing is, they're probably going to break up anyway. They just don't want to spend the money.
They were going to break up anyway, so it's a flea.
So it's a good thing, because it brings it forward, doesn't it? And makes you make that decision.
And then the other one is that 53% of women say that they would break up if their partner forgot Valentine's Day altogether.
Oh, I don't believe that. If you forget, you would be a bit hacked off if you forgot it altogether. Just say Happy Valentine's Day doesn't cost anything, to just be aware of it. I think you'd be a bit hacked off, but I don't know. Again, it's probably just an excuse. You were going to break up anyway.
But then the last one, and this one really, really surprised me. Apparently there was a law firm, or a few law firms, I don't know. But anyway, there was a figure of
they probably love it.
40% of divorce inquiries in a year, 40% of them come in the days following Valentine's Day.
I think Christmas is another time.
Yeah.
Because of pressure and expectation.
Between the New Year and Valentine's Day, I guess so. But all of it.
Yeah, so I think Christmas has an impact on that. Because I think you have a bit of a rubbish Christmas, or certainly New Year. We've talked about this on our Big Decisions podcast. My big decision was to divorce was around New Year. And
with jobs has been around New Year as well.
But saying that, we didn't do anything about it till quite a few months later. So I do think, I don't know, if it's going to happen, there are these triggers in the year that make you reflect and go, what is it that I want? What am I looking for? I don't necessarily think that means, oh, you didn't get me a present on Valentine's Day. I just think it's a symptom of a much bigger picture. It's a trigger. Probably, I think is probably the better term.
But it does point towards, in relationships, trying to be consistent and try to get it right.
Yeah.
Through the year.
Yeah, and I think if you could be somebody who doesn't believe in it, and I know you really don't, but I do a little bit. I know you haven't got me a card.
Have you got me one?
I actually have.
No, rubbish.
Da, 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 da.
Oh no. Was this the one in the drawer from last year that you pulled out the sign?
It's fine.
That's
it's
okay.
Fine.
That makes
I'm not bothered, but just watch that statistic. No,
that makes up for the fact that you didn't give me one last year.
No, I didn't. But you were away.
Okay.
You weren't here.
Yeah, you
so that was a good excuse. You were away with work.
Oh, thank you.
And you wrote me a letter, didn't you, last year?
I did.
But you can open it. No. Just don't read it out. You haven't. No, but I can't even remember the point I was making now. I can't believe it's like, here's one I had earlier, but I was going to give it to you at the end.
Right. Okay.
It's just because you asked me, and I had it hidden behind there. What was the point?
The point.
No, I think, okay, I know the point I want to make is that you have to understand each other. So, okay, you're not that into it, and I kind of act like I'm not into it. And it's like Hannah always goes, but Mum is like, you always say, don't get me too much at Christmas. But if you got you nothing, you'd be fuming.
Yeah.
And we have, I don't know, like you went to Christmas over presents, haven't we? And again, that makes me sound really spoiled. You don't remember that one?
No,
you bought me the water flask.
The giraffe one.
No, but again,
you've used that every day. It's very practical.
There's context there. That's another story for another day.
Very practical water flask.
No, the point is that it's this love languages thing, which we didn't mean to look up before we went on this, and we didn't. So that's one for another day.
That's another one, the 5 love languages.
Yeah, I know, but we didn't look them up, and I can't remember what half of them are. But I know gifts isn't high for me.
That's not surprising.
However, it's not that low down, and it's not about the gift, it's just about the thought. Like, not getting me a card on Valentine's Day. Lisa will be fuming, honestly. Wait till I tell her. She'll be like, Patrick, perfect Patrick is not so perfect.
No, hang on, what's the time?
No, don't be running out now.
Rush down to the supermarket or to the
it's fine.
the local filling station.
You can just cook dinner. It's fine.
I can get a bunch of flowers and a card.
No, it's fine.
And a 2-for-1 offer.
See, I'm not bothered. It's too late now.
Right.
But you talk about consistency, and I think the key is about knowing each other and what to expect. Let go of expectation, but actually, because we know each other. The key is to know each other.
Yeah.
And if your partner, it would mean a lot to them to give them a bunch of flowers on Valentine's Day, then just go. It doesn't matter. Just give them a little bunch of flowers on, even if it's a little thing. Give them something to show that you've thought about them. And if that's what you think that they would love, just because you're not into it, doesn't mean you don't get them a card.
And even the small, stop rubbing it in. The smallest of gestures.
You're never going to live this one down.
And just remember, next Valentine's 2026, when I buy you that card, it'll be so much more special.
Yeah, I'll frame it. So rounding it all up then, because I think we were sort of dancing around the handbags, and we will do probably a podcast about go on a bit more of a deeper level about relationships and communication and connection and all that, because we do have especially a midlife story to share, because we did get to start again in midlife, and we've learned a lot of lessons, haven't we? But I think, I'm guessing most of us who are listening will agree that Valentine's Day and romance and thoughtful gestures shouldn't just be about one day. It's a nice reminder. It's an excuse to do something nice together if you are in a relationship. It's something to not get too worked up about at all if you're not in a relationship. Do something lovely for yourself. But I think in closure, we just want to say, I think that it's about just being kind to each other and considerate of each other's, and thoughts and feelings. And I think that only comes and grows the more you get to know each other, the more you talk, the more you communicate, and be brave to just ask the question of what are your expectations? And it's perhaps something that I think you probably need to do quite early on in our relationship.
Yeah, the earlier on, the fewer surprises, the better. So the more that you can talk,
suss each other out.
But surprises like this,
continue to do
surprises like this are lovely.
Little card.
Shall I open it?
Yeah, you can. It's not. It's not like,
I'm gonna open it.
I think you'll like it. It's sweet.
Oh.
Has it got the price on the back?
No, it's a Lady in the Tramp.
Oh.
Valentine, amor, my amore. Is it more? Okay. I won't read out what's in it. It's far too personal.
Oh no, you can.
No, I won't. It's just for me.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
Thank you. Thank you.
Why are you thanking then?
No, thank you. Thank you. That's true. I'll put him on. 2026.
Send him a card. Valentine's keeps him very happy.
Because I get these every other year.
To be fair, it's true.